Let's take a look at Wednesday in the NBA. Who are we streaming in? What are the things we need to pay attention to? And Joel Embiid is out.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and which way to Hamburger Hot Dog Stand? I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and we're available on all platforms. And while you're double banging over here, go check out lockedondaily.com and sign up for the free newsletter into your inbox every day for your favorite NBA team. We're here on National Personal Chef's Day. If you're a personal chef and you want to offer your personal chefing services to me, I'll take it. I'd love it. Let's get some personal chef stuff going. I can be a personal sous chef, or I can sit down and just do the job of eating. I'm happy to do that as well. We're here looking at Wednesday across the NBA. There are 9 games on. So we've had an 8, 7, and a 9 game day to start the week. So we're going to take a look at the things that we need to take a look at for Wednesday. We're going to take a look initially here at how the schedule is playing out. Now, what we're going to do first of all is just look at the teams that are playing Tuesday, who will be then on the second night of a back-to-back on Wednesday. And the 4 of them, if you watch yesterday's streaming show, you know who these teams are. It's the Celtics, it's the Rockets, it's the Spurs, and the Raptors. And of course, with the Celtics, Huerter is out on Tuesday. Porzingis is playing, so I expect that Porzingis is out on Wednesday and Huerter is back. The Rockets, Fred VanVleet, we don't know his status yet for Tuesday, but you'd imagine if he plays on Tuesday, there's a risk that he doesn't play Wednesday, and that Tari Eason sits on Wednesday. The Spurs, no real back-to-back worries there apart from what's going on with Charlie Bassey. And then Huerter is already out on Tuesday, so he's, I guess, still sort of up in the air for Wednesday for Toronto. In terms of back-to-backs, trying to get a Wednesday-Thursday advantage, you can't. There's nobody. There are no Wednesday-Thursday back-to-backs, so you cannot take advantage of that. That's why when we talked about it in the Week 19 preview show over the weekend, that when we're trying to plan out how our schedule looks, there's not back-to-backs every day that you can take advantage of, and Wednesday, Thursday is that time when that back-to-back does not exist. If we want to chunk it up for the rest of the week, Wednesday through to Sunday, which players have 3 games over those last 5 days of the week? It's a lot of the usual suspects. These are all 30% or under rostered on Yahoo. Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen in Phoenix, yeah, they can stink at any point, but they can also have solid production. And again, getting 3 games over 5 nights is a bit of a W for a lot of players. I don't know what to make of Kelly Olynyk and starting for the Pelicans. I would think you get at least 2 starts here. I don't imagine they pull the pin on whatever this experiment is. The idea of Willie Green wanting to unlock Kelly Olynyk is absolutely, of course, batshit insane, but that's what he's doing. So I expect that it runs the rest of the week. The Bulls and Lonzo Ball, yeah, last game he actually hit 2 shots and then got a cut in the head and was unable to continue, but they don't have back-to-backs. He's fine to go for their next game, so both he and Matas Buzelis are in there. Vooch is doubtful for Wednesday, and Jalen Smith is out, so we're going to get more Zach Collins, but that doesn't mean that's going to be the case on their other 2 games. And Ayo Dosunmu could be returning, so we'll see how that impacts things. But Ball and Buzelis, 3 games, 5 nights, I like that. Day'Ron Sharpe in Brooklyn, you're going to get a big spike for Day'Ron on Wednesday, I'm guessing, and then we'll see how things progress over the rest of the week, but he's worth looking at there. And I already mentioned Grayson Allen when I was talking about Royce O'Neal in terms of the Suns streamers. We've got quite a few unresolved and important statuses to look at in terms of injuries for Wednesday. I put Kristaps Porzingis there at the top. I don't think there's any way that he plays. He's playing on Tuesday, and it's a back-to-back. I don't think that he plays, but I'll just put it there because it's not official. It's official. He's not playing. Alex Sarr is going to be interesting in Washington. Obviously, if Sarr is out, you get deeper leagues looking at Tristan Vukcevic, but you get Rashawn Holmes, who gets a real bump in that spot. Huerter is out on Tuesday. We don't know about him for Wednesday. And then we've got 3 statuses there for Philadelphia that are important. Both Gershon Yabusele and Quentin Grimes left the destruction against the Bulls early. I don't think there's a massive worry there with Grimes being able to play. Also, as expected, Eric Gordon is having surgery on his wrist. I'm certain his season is over. I am certain that I'm sort of certain that Kyle Lowry's season is going to be over. And then the other one there is Joel Embiid, and he is listed out again for Wednesday, and I'm pretty certain his season is over as well. Yabusele is the question mark because he has a corneal abrasion, which can be something where you just can't see at all, and that means he wouldn't be able to play. So you'd be really looking for Boner time in that spot and the big avocado. So Drummond and Boner would be getting those minutes, but of course if Yabu is available, then that reduces your Boner output. And there's one thing we don't want. I wish I had a great transition to a good ad read, but we don't want to reduce our Boner output. But yeah, there's some key statuses there. Some more. Bam Adebayo just popped up. Okay. We got word that Nikola Jovic does have that fracture. He's out at least 4 weeks. It's the easiest injury designation in the NBA. Fractured hand is 4 weeks, nearly every time. Maybe 6, but it's 4. It's nearly every time. So Jovic is done, and there is some risk here that if he needs surgery, that the season could be over for him, so just watch that one. But Bam Adebayo popping up as questionable would mean they would have to do a lot more of Khalil Ware, and then we would have to get a lot more Hayward Highsmith and Kyle Anderson in the mix. Nic Claxton, he is officially suspended. He had those flagrant foul points. They didn't rescind the flagrant, so he is out. So that is confirmed. And Cam Johnson popped up with a back injury. Okay. All right. So let's see what that means. Still no Clowney, still no Thomas, but Johnson questionable. Okay. Dosunmu has been upgraded to questionable for the Bulls, while Vooch is doubtful and Smith is out. And then we don't know about the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard and Norman Powell. And of course, their presence or absence impacts a lot. Impacts Bogdan Bogdanovic, impacts the Nick Batum, it impacts Amir Coffey and Derek Jones and Chris Dunn. The value of these guys changes depending on who those two guys, whether they play or not, because there's obviously huge amounts of usage in those two guys. Keon Ellis, it looks like he's escaped any serious injury. He's questionable for their game. If he was to miss, then Markelle Fultz would do a lot more, but Alice I still think is going to sit in that 23-minute zone, maybe 25, but probably not enough to be must roster. And then I just put the Jazz, because they sat Clarkson, Sexton, Markkanen, Collins, and Kessler in the last game. Their game is against Sacramento. Do they deem the Kings bad enough that you have to sit all these guys? Because this changes a lot. If these guys are out, then we love using Kyle Filipowski. We consider, maybe not, but we maybe consider Johnny Juzang. We love the value bump that Keontae George gets, but I don't know. I can't tell you what's going to happen. Filipowski is the key target, and they've got a game against the Pelicans later on in the week where I'm certain those Jazz guys are all going to sit. But for now, I just don't know. And then we've got Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet, who are both still questionable for Tuesday. So I'll put them as questionable here on Wednesday. There's some other key statuses, of course, that we do need to pay some attention to. We're going to come back and look at some points league streaming options, but first of all, today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. And Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That is over 8x the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk, rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 per month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8x the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November the 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. All right, so let's take a look at streaming now. We're going to hit Yahoo points. We're going to hit ESPN points. We're going to talk about the different roster percentage plateaus / levels / whatever word we want to use. We'll start, of course, with Yahoo. And this guy is going to be featured a lot on this show. But without Nic Claxton, without Noah Clowney, it surely has to be Day'Ron Sharpe. Trenton Watford is going to be interesting as well. But Sharpe has been cooking. I wouldn't expect that they roll him out for 32 minutes, but 27, 26 minutes probably. He's available everywhere. Under 20% rostered. Well, not everywhere. Of course, I know you guys exist. I know the double onyx, diamond, titanium, platinum, palladiums. I know you guys are out there. Strontium, bismuth. I know you're all out there. But Sharpe is available in a lot of different spots, and this is perfect to use him. You'll notice there are a few nets on this list. Keon Johnson, who, with no D'Angelo Russell still, is in that mix for us as well. And if Cam Johnson is out, that helps him even further. I've got Zach Collins there, who is actually available everywhere, like 3% rostered. There's no Smith, there's no Vooch. So yeah, we absolutely use Zach Collins. And like I said on the injury update show yesterday, I talked about Vooch and the fact that they just kept listing him with these random probable tags. And I said, I reckon there's something in this in terms of them just using it as some cover to sit some games. Well, that's exactly what's happened. So I wouldn't be thinking that Vooch is rushing back, to be fair. And Jalen Smith's in concussion protocol. So you might even consider just holding Collins with a 3-game in 5 nights coming up. Isaiah Williams is on this list as well. Now, he is incredibly hit or miss. He could shoot 20%. But he could also have 3 steals, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 7 threes. He can't have 7. He's never done that. But, he's useful enough with a starting job. Dracaris Levert is there. Now, this is a Hawks team that has a very weird schedule. Their final game of the week is on Friday. But he's usable. He's very hit or miss as well. We know that with him, and he's not someone I just want to hold on to, but he's useful here. And then the other one is Matas Buzelis. Now, Buzelis played like 40 minutes in the last game, or close enough to it. I think he played 20 minutes in the first half. That doesn't mean that's going to always hold. Dosunmu returning will have an impact on that, and Lonzo Ball playing out the full game. But for now, I think we look at Buzelis as, I don't think that's a flip the switch and now he's 35 minutes a night. I think it was very unique. Very unique. Josh, stop doing that. Unique situation of those two guys being out and losing Lonzo early that enabled Buzelis to play that extra time. I don't think Bill Donovan's completely leaning into it, but you never know. You never know. It might happen, but it also might not. If you go to ESPN points leagues, and the list is a little bit different on ESPN today. Normally these ESPN and Yahoo points league lists are relatively similar, but I've got some different names here. We are starting, of course, with Day'Ron Sharpe at the top. I've got Lonzo Ball in that list. Surely. Like, he was on track to actually have a good game last time and then cut his head open. He'd been shooting 10%. That was always going to tick up, and I'm pretty confident in his minutes, so I'm good with him there. I've got Zach Collins and Levert again on this list, and then 2 other names. 2 names that are more suited to ESPN's point-scoring system. Andrew Nembhard, who is absolutely not a must-roster player, and with him and all of the TMC guys, the Mathurin Collective, with Nembhard and Mathurin himself and McConnell, whether he's available or not, and Neesmith in that mix. All of these guys can contribute in parts with little bits and pieces of value. And I think Nembhard is worth looking at now. It might not work, but he's worth that. And then we go to Miami because we know Jovic is out. Bam might be out. And Kyle Anderson played 28 minutes last game. So I don't know whether slow-mo Chinese national team legend is going to be a great producer. I don't even know if he plays 28 minutes because in that other game, Keller Ware sat out the end of the game with an issue with his hand, I think it was, and he's also listed probable with an ankle issue for this game as well, where I think he's fine to play. But Anderson's got multiple opportunities, Bam sitting and Jovic being out, to see 25-plus minutes, and his combination of assists, steals, some blocks, it does work okay on the ESPN points scoring system. Let's make a move to talk category leagues now. Let's take a look at how we can stream in again. We are going to streamline this towards the end of the week, probably Saturday or Sunday, when we just look at individual categories. For now, we're grouping categories to show you the different players for different areas. We'll start with points and threes. These guys, again, with different roster percentage numbers. We start with George Niang. Now, Niang is up and down. He might play 30 minutes, he might play 24, he might have 20 points, he might have 7. But what he does is have points and threes. He can give you some rebounds on top of that at times, and his role is somewhat secure. You know he's going to play each night. We know that part of it. What he does each night is going to be very up and down. But I like Niang here. The next one we go to is Corey Kispert. Now, he is also a very, very much not good player. But with guys and the way that he just gets like 21 minutes or 22 minutes, or maybe it's 27, and maybe he has 15 points. This is all he does. He hits points, he scores points, and he hits threes. He doesn't do anything else. We know this. Keon Johnson is highly rostered using Basketball Monsters' advanced metric because he's been hovering around that back end of the 12-team leagues for a while. He's not a must-roster guy at all because of deficiencies in his game and minutes and role variation depending on who's available, but I like him here for points and threes. I've got Sam Hauser there as well because I expect Porzingis to sit. I think there's a risk of Brown or Tatum, maybe Drew, maybe White sitting out as well. How's a bit of a bump? Keyshawn George is in this mix too. Now, he can be pretty iffy with the shooting, but in terms of consistency of minutes versus like a Bub or a Kispert, George gets that. And he offers the ability to get defensive stats too. What do you have? 3 steals, 3 blocks last game. He's not always going to do that, but he is a nice option with solid enough minutes to be useful here. And then the other one is Fanapants Kevin Huerter. Now be very careful about reading into that box score from the Bulls last game. He did not start over Kobe White because Kobe White got benched. Kobe White was not benched. Kobe White was not on a minutes limit. Kobe White had a random bleed on his finger before the game and couldn't go in. And then he came into the game and then bled again and had to go to the locker room. So that's why the minutes for Kobe White looked the way they did. That is why Kevin Huerter started. Now, Huerter still might play 28 or 29 minutes, but from last game, you will have White not bleeding on the court to start. You will have Lonzo not bleeding from his head and playing more than 8 minutes. And you might have Ayodosumu playing. So to suggest that Kevin Huerter is going to do what he did in the last game, I don't think feels realistic. Still, he's widely available. If you're in deeper leagues, we know what the man does. He's a points and threes guy. I would have absolutely zero trust in using Kevin Huerter long term. But if you're looking for that in deeper leagues, here we go. Here is your opportunity to get your Fanta on. We've got more category league stuff to talk about. Before I do that, today's episode is brought to you by DoorDash. NBA fans, imagine if Kevin Huerter was the one that gave the swoosh for you to save. Could Kevin Huerter, thanks to Dash Pass, give you 50% off up to $10 on an order by dropping 50 points in a night? Seems incredibly unlikely, but it doesn't matter if it's Kevin Huerter or not. It's any player who can score 50 points in a game during the NBA 24-25 regular season. Dash Pass members will get 50% off their order up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. So they do it on Wednesday night. Kevin Huerter drops in 25 threes. And then the next day from noon to midnight, well, if you're a Dash Pass member, you get that 50% off up to $10 off. You want to get burgers? Cool. You want to get carrot cake? No relation to Kevin Huerter? Maybe. I don't know. Whatever it is, and it's from participating merchants, of course, well, you get that discount on that order by using the code and getting that great deal once someone drops a big 50 in the NBA. So sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members will get 50% off an order the next day up to $10 off. Just use the promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders of participating merchants. You must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. All right, we're just looking at streaming now. We did the points and threes just before that Dash Pass DoorDash announcement, but now we're going to go into talking about some big men. We're going to talk about rebounds and blocks from the big chunguses of the NBA. Who are the guys that can do that? Well, of course, it's that man again. It's Day'Ron Sharpe. He should start. He might approach 30 minutes. He might get double-digit rebounds. He might have multiple blocks. I love all of that. And he can do other things too. So yeah, he is a huge, huge option. Bismack Biyombo, we talked about as being a stream guy for the Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. I don't know that Charles Bassey is going to play. I know that Victor Wembanyama isn't going to play, and they are preferring Biyombo over Sandro Mamukelashvili, and they're using him at times over Jeremy Sohan in small ball. But for boards and blocks, he actually doesn't do anything else. So there you go. Zach Collins. He's the center in Chicago. There's nobody else to play center. They played a little bit of giddy point center in the last couple of games, but yeah, Zach Collins is there. Isaiah Stewart, just a guy that's widely available. And you'll notice that the last 4 names on my list here all sit at under 10% according to Basketball Monsters' advanced metric. These guys are available. Zach Collins, Isaiah Stewart, who's only going to top out at 20 minutes probably unless there's Jalen Duren foul trouble, but that's okay. You got Rashawn Holmes, who in a bench role might get 7 boards in 19 minutes, but he could double-double. And he had what? I don't even know what he had, because some sites said he had 5 blocks, or some said he had 4 blocks last game, some said he had 3. I don't know. Anyway, he had multiple blocks in the last game, and if Alexander Sarr is out again, then we do get a situation where Holmes' value bumps, and maybe you get 2 blocks, maybe you get 12 rebounds, and he's available. And the other one is Kyle Anderson, who's not going to get multiple blocks, but he might have 8 rebounds, he might have 9 rebounds, especially if Bam is out, and then he might get a block to go with 2 steals and 3 threes and 5 assists. The Kyle Anderson line, if you don't know what it is, it's like, what's that famous line? What's the name of it? I got to think of it. I was thinking it was the Maginot line, but anyway, what was I trying to say? Like, yeah, the Kyle Anderson, that Maginot line doesn't fit, but anyway, that's fine. Kyle Anderson, this is the standard Kyle Anderson experience. It doesn't really matter if he gets 24 minutes or 29 minutes. 10, 5, and 5, steal, block, and a 3. It's a 1-1 with a 10, 5, 5. You don't expect anything more. You might get something less, but that's what he does. And that's really useful, especially when maybe it pushes to 8 rebounds. But yeah, a 10, 5, 5, 1, 1 is a very, very common Kyle Anderson contribution. If we want to go to guards, this man is putting up insane numbers. His name is Chris Dunn. And if Powell and Kawhi Leonard are out, his minutes are going to spike again. Now, he's probably not going to roll with this level of steal numbers, But this is what he does. He's an excellent steals guy. And he can get assists and he can hit some threes at times, some out-of-position blocks. He's really strong as a stream guy. Lonzo Ball's there. This is what he does. Andrew Nembhard is there. Again, doesn't really do much more than that, but assists and steals, we're in. Davion Mitchell, most games he's been playing 33, 34 minutes. Last game, they sort of went away from him and went back to Alec Burks to get a little bit more offense because they cannot score. They are horrible at the moment, the Heat. And we'll see what they do with Mitchell. It's Spo, so they can change the lineups at any point. But Mitchell could be interesting there. Alex Caruso starting to show some real signs of life. He's starting to show why I thought he was a standard league draftable player. Now, clearly, that has been incredibly wrong all season. They just never played him. I thought he was a chance to start. They're never going to do that. But if he starts playing 24 minutes a night and goes 5-4-4-2-1 with 2 threes, that's good. And could he get you 4 assists and 2 steals and a block here? Absolutely he could. He's still not grabbed in a lot of spots, rightfully so for Caruso, but I think the Rabbit Hunter is firmly in our TMC mix of streamable guards, and yeah, the Pacers have got a bunch of those guys. The Thunder have got a bunch of those guys. There's lots of them around the league. Tim Hardaway, just carrying on his dad's legacy, being a part of that group as well. And the other name on this list is Killian Hayes. D'Angelo Russell is out. Hayes will start. He'll probably shoot under 30%, but 7 assists and 2 steals, that is what the man does. He eats 7s and 2s for breakfast. I don't know, have you ever eaten a 7 or a 2 for breakfast? Maybe you can be like Killian Hayes. Percentage streamers, field goals, easy. Day'Ron Sharpe, let's go. Secondly, I put Nemesh Cater in there, but it could be a lot of guys. What if it's Luke Cornett? Because he's out on Tuesday. If Cornett plays on Wednesday, I like Cornett over Cater, but I just don't know. So I put Nemesh there because Horford is probably going to be back. Porzingis is probably going to be out. But Cater will be my guy if Cornett is out. And then with the expectation that Embiid is out, well, not expectation, the knowledge that Embiid is out, and the potential of Yabusele being out, well, maybe the big fella, the big penguin, the big avocado, Andre Drummond could do that. He has curbed his insane usage game from 3 or 4 years ago where he was the worst player to watch in the NBA. And he's really been able to improve that efficiency, even though he is completely washed, clearly. But he's worth looking at in that spot. For free throws, there's just easy names. It's Grade A Dick, it's Aaron Nesmith, and it's Corey Kispert. These guys all... Now, Dick, I think he's still probable for Tuesday. I think he plays on Wednesday. But all these guys can easily, your best case, get to 6 free throw attempts. If not, get 2 and hit them all. Easy 100% opportunities for all of those players. And now it's your 100% opportunity on National Personal Chef's Day to not only cook for me, but also to thumb up this video. Also to leave a comment. Also to get yourselves ready for the week or the rest of the week ahead. And also to, again, reflect on stuff. And I don't even need to reflect on stuff. It's more about just don't bash yourself. Don't get yourself too down. You work on stuff, you improve on stuff, you get it better. And then you say, guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.